Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Startup Central. I'm Avanne Dubash. For any feedback or commentary, please reach out to us on suc@etnow.tv.
Google and Microsoft are ready to butt heads again over AI-driven search, which has a brain of its own. It's almost like a human talking to you. It can spit out poetry in the style of your favorite poet. It can even churn out a quick 500-worded copy for a presentation and can whip up a program code. All of that in a matter of seconds. So it is no surprise that within a few months of its launch, ChatGPT, funded by Microsoft, took the internet by storm. Google was quick to announce its own Bard AI and even issued an internal code red reportedly. So the question is the tech giant that's been the undisputed king of search for 2 decades rattled? Well, the share price of Alphabet, the holding company of Google, plunged 7.7% on Feb 8th, a day after the search engine giant unveiled Bard. This was the biggest fall in the company in over 3 months. Google's panic is well placed. OpenAI, supported search engine by Microsoft, is going to be way more than just a simple Google search. It can whip up a summary of web pages instead of showing you separate links, and you could ask further questions as well. Users can even switch in and out of chat mode, basically disrupting search to become more interactive and even supporting a basic web search. For instance, if you ask it for recipes of egg substitutes, it will go even further to discuss the properties of those egg substitutes and will suggest which one will be fluffier. For content producers, it can churn out quick scripts, undertake research tasks, and generate more relevant, engaging, and meaningful responses and streamline the process of search engine optimization. Even though Google took no time to introduce its Bard AI after the surging usage of ChatGPT, the service for now is available on a pilot project basis. But could it be because it's a rushed decision? Or there is a realization that perhaps Google is too late to the party? A Google search executive is reported to have told the New York Times that it's either make or break moment for the Alphabet lost $100 billion in market value on Wednesday after its new chatbot Bard shared inaccurate information in a promotional video, feeding worries that the Google parent is losing ground to rival Microsoft Corp. And this is according to a report by Reuters. Tech expert and author Jaspreet Bindra claims that Google has rushed its announcement under pressure. Google owns 90% of the search advertisement market, which is its core business, and concerns about the risk of an erosion of its market share following a Bing platform that is powered by AI has left some investors edgy. And search, by the way, overall as a market by 2028 is poised to be approximately $500 million, primarily due to its AI capabilities. Satya Nadella too agrees.
ChatGPT has sure taken the world by storm, and it's got a lot of us thinking as well. One great idea, one leap of faith, or is it going to completely transform the way the future of business and the way we think? Well, let's find out whether it's a boon or bane, a mixture of both, and how exactly one should live with a ChatGPT. We've got on board Jaspreet Bindra. He's a digital technology expert and author at the Tech Whisperer, as well as Siddarth Pai, founding partner at 3for1 Capital. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking time out and joining in. Now, Jaspreet, to begin with, Elon Musk, who was actually the co-founder of OpenAI, which is the US-based startup that developed ChatGPT, says that it is one of the biggest risks to the future of civilization, and that is artificial intelligence. He's warned about a lot of perils to this, saying that it's far more dangerous than even nuclear warheads. Is he far off?
Well, Elon Musk seems to have co-founded everything these days, hasn't he? And yes, one of them is OpenAI. Look, it's a very apt comparison with nuclear energy. And much like nuclear energy, you have the good side and you have the bad side. And then it's up to us humans, which of that side do we actually exploit more. So I personally think that ChatGPT and generative AI is one of the most fundamental tech leaps, like search, like email, like social networking, but it has its dark sides in terms of ethics, bias, plagiarism, and many others. And it'll be up to us that which of these sides we channel more and better than the others.
Yeah, it's up to us, of course. But, Siddharth, just to understand it, basically, OpenAI has claimed that ChatGPT can respond to any type of writing using the dialogue model, mathematical solutions, theoretical essays, anything like that, and any follow-up questions. And it can also admit to making mistakes. So just want to understand your take on whether or not this is really going to be the way for the future.
No, I think it genuinely is. Even from our field, also, I'm actually seeing a number. When I speak to other VCs and investors, a lot of people are actually using ChatGPT to create job CVs, to actually start creating investment thesis, to start creating research notes, and the like itself. Especially if we speak to any college student, any school student for that matter, ChatGPT is actually becoming the new Google for them, or the new Wikipedia for them. They're going and copiously copying and actually taking a lot out of it. I think from the side of the industry, everyone's going to view ChatGPT as another tool, the same as you view email, the same way you view the internet and the like itself. It depends on how you end up using it. I think the use cases right now are also been fairly limited. We will actually see this once it gets integrated by Microsoft into Bing, into Office, into presentations and everything. I think the sheer efficiency that ChatGPT is actually going to start engendering for everyone is actually going to be a massive leap forward for everyone itself. We are going to see the dark side, as Jaspreet also mentioned. But I think that any sort of tool for that matter depends not on the tool, but on the user of that particular tool itself. I think there's a large amount of work that people are doing across the world, even OpenAI, to make sure that there are actually AI ethics and the likes that are actually coming up itself. So I think the next generation of philosophers is most probably going to actually start looking at AI, as well as the ethics that comes as part of that, rather than looking at the human condition alone.
Wow, the next generation of philosophers is going to be looking at AI. And, Jaspreet, so do you really think that it is, and I mean, it has been pretty much proved, going to work better than what we're so accustomed to do? Just Google it. A Google search, is it really going to be the different way of looking for things on the internet? I mean, imagine not having to actually click on a second follow-on link. That's really priceless.
Well, Siddharth, I'm actually one of those next new generation of philosophers. I'm doing this in philosophy and generative AI masters in Cambridge University right now, and we are very deeply looking at that. And therefore, I agree with you. But coming back to you, there are three things that I would like to say in basis of what you said. First of all, generative AI and ChatGPT should be used to generate. That's why it's called generative AI, not necessarily to search. So you generate music, generate text, generate answers, generate pictures, visuals, artistic renditions, ideas. And I think that's where more than search, ChatGPT will be useful for. Secondly, it's not structured as search. Search will always be faster, because it's kind of structured as a database. And so I see tools like ChatGPT working along with search. For certain things to generate new stuff, ChatGPT will be the one which you'll go to. For other stuff, it will be search. And that's why the Bing integration actually has both. It has the search bar as well as the messenger. And both used in tandem with each other is the way to go.
Okay, that's interesting, using both in tandem with each other, so it's not really going to be replaceable. But Siddarth, what about that worry? I don't know if it's really been discussed, the implications of the privacy risks that ChatGPT posed to each and every one of us. None of us were really asked if OpenAI could use our data. So is that a clear violation of privacy, especially, when data is so sensitive and it can be used to identify us and pretty much our entire lives?
No, that's actually a fantastic question. I think people ask this question during the early days of the internet as well, and Google itself. I think we're still having that debate right about now as to what's a thin line between consent and privacy that the world is actually there. But I think the next generation of people coming in right now, everyone's sort of used and accustomed to the fact that there's going to be a large amount of AI that's actually going to start sourcing all your personal information, anonymize it and end up actually putting it forward. I think the biggest question that we have right now is the right to forget. So can we actually go back to these anonymized databases, make sure they can identify our information, pull that particular information out and clean it out? I think that's actually going to be the conversation that people like Jaspreet are actually going to be speaking about for a long period of time. And that's going to start underscoring this entire decade as we go about it. These are not questions that anyone has an easy yes or no answer to. I think it's a dialogue, it's a conversation, it's going to constantly keep evolving. I think it's important for civil society to actually keep all the tech giants in place to make sure they don't actually end up exceeding the bounds that society has actually afforded to them so far.
Yeah, and Jaspreet, wanted to just get in your take. Siddarth brought this up earlier when it comes to education as well. It's pretty much the service can be used by anyone via the OpenAI website, from school homework to legal briefs. But there was this big fear with respect to education and, using this for cheating, etc. Of course, while a lot of us may wish that we were born in the generation where we had exams in the time of AI, is this really a threat, or will it, on the other hand, maybe modify or improve the way the future or the students will be thinking?
Yep. Whenever a new technology like this comes, there's a lot of excitement, but there's a lot of paranoia. Okay. And there's a lot of fear. Both happen at the same time. And especially when you start reading stuff like, specifically in education, stuff like ChatGPT has cleared a law exam, it has cleared a medical exam somewhere else, a business school paper somewhere else, and you kind of think, oh man, this is going to be far more intelligent than us. Some of the universities have reacted in panic. Some of them have said, we're going to go back to pen and paper exams, for example. Okay, or shut off ChatGPT or internet access totally. If you go back, and if you're probably as old as I am, if you go back and we used to do most exams without calculators, and then calculators came in, and there was a fear again that students will forget how to calculate, and therefore but then we evolved very quickly to start using calculators. Similarly with computers, and so I think that specifically in education, we should not keep these tools away from the students. We have to make the students use these tools better. And I will end by saying this, there's a lot of apprehension also about ChatGPT and jobs, that ChatGPT will take our jobs, which education is preparing us for. ChatGPT or AI will not take our jobs, but a person using ChatGPT and AI will. And so you better teach a person and a student how to use these tools and become better, rather than just shutting them out of it, because someone else who uses them will actually be better at it than the person not using.
Well, just taking off from what Jaspreet said, and Siddarth, I want to pose the next question to you, with Bill Gates saying that this could really have a huge impact. And do you think that even when it comes to spaces like healthcare or education, that AI can tangibly improve efficiency, meaningly improve outcomes if used correctly?
No, 100%. I think the failings of the human faculty are fairly well known to everyone in the world right now. Everyone's aware of the limitations of what you can actually do and the fatigue that ends up actually setting in. I think the entire purpose of machines throughout history is to actually add efficiency to the user who's actually utilizing these particular tools for whatever the stated purposes are. If you look at AI when it comes to health as well, there's a large amount of work that's actually been done to ensure that in case any cancers have been undetected by a person, AI can actually end up finding it, to go through MRI scans, X-ray scans, EKG reports and the like itself. So I think we've actually seen this sort of integration actually end up coming out. But I think what's going to be important is we can't be overly reliant only on these alone. They can actually end up generating, but the curation should actually have a human eye that ends up coming up with that itself. None of these machines are actually perfect. I think delegating all authority and everything to this and viewing these as sort of overlords, I think it's actually been fairly myopic on a large number of people. It's actually akin to science fiction or something end up seeing over that itself. I think we are going to view this the same way we view Google, internet and everything and the like, and smartphones for that matter. It's just get integrated into human society. We'll figure out ways to use it. There will be people who misuse it, but I think that's why laws and institutions and the courts actually end up existing, to make sure there's a healthy dialectic that actually emerges between society and technology going forward.
Yeah, and Jaspreet, we've also seen that very heated battle ChatGPT has led to. Google, the titan of the internet search, Microsoft, they've invested in OpenAI with their Bing web browser. Do you think that we're likely to see more players come into this space? And what do you make of the two giants battling it out?
That's a great question. I was with Microsoft. I used to work with them when the first search wars happened, which was Google, obviously, and then Bing was launched. And Google just pulverized Bing, right? Like Google today has 90% plus market share. But, I think a lot of people in Microsoft remember that, and Satya certainly does, Satya Nadella. And the second search wars, actually, he threw down the gauntlet for that 3 or 4 days back when he said that I want to make Google dance and want people to know that we made them dance. And I think what he's playing, the game that Microsoft is playing with Google, is very interesting. Someone referred to it as 3D chess, which is actually a very strategic game. Google's search is much bigger than Microsoft's. And so Microsoft can choose to subsidize its search, give away stuff for free, etc., and reduce the margin that Google makes on its core product, because Microsoft makes money from other stuff. If the margin of search reduces, which again Satya Nadella said, I want to reduce the margins of search. Search is too profitable. He reduces the overall margins of search. Google has less money to invest in other products like the cloud, etc., where it's competing with Microsoft. And so Microsoft is kind of trying to squeeze them out of this. So I think Microsoft is going for more search share, but more than that, it is going for disrupting search itself with these new tools and disrupting Google's business model itself, and so that it gains everywhere else. Yes, there will be more players. Baidu has already announced. Meta has a product in the works, and they've already had a product. They will also announce. There'll be open source products of such nature. Already some of them exist, like Stable Diffusion, etc. And so I think, yes, there'll be this big playing field, but I think, again, as we've seen in many other such products, that two or three or four big techs will have will control and have the majority of users here. But the Google-Microsoft game is extremely interesting.
What about you? What do you think, Siddarth, when it comes to these two big players? You just heard Jaspreet say that Microsoft is looking to really disrupt Google's business model entirely. How do you see it really playing out or unfolding?
No, I think what we see, innovation always happens at the edge. I think we've actually seen that in all the waves of innovation that have happened so far. But I think what the difference we're seeing right now is because AI is actually contingent on having a large reservoir of data that's available. So the larger tech giants do actually have an added step up compared to any other startups that are actually coming up with that itself. That combined with the large balance sheets that they have, they can actually go out and acquire most of this innovation that happens at the edge and end up actually integrating it into the wider mainstream itself. But I think as far as AI is concerned, the way OpenAI actually came out straight out of left field, teamed up with one of the larger giants, we will actually see a larger number of these sort of startups and upstarts actually coming out itself. I think we're going to see AI get integrated in almost every aspect of our lives going forward. And the specialization and the data sets that people end up harvesting, I think will actually give them an added edge compared to everyone. So while the Microsoft and the Google and the Facebook and the Meta and everyone's going to command headlines, I think we are going to see the next generation. Even you look at VCs right now, a large number of VCs have emerged with having generative AI as part of their core thesis itself. And there are 200 or 300 odd companies that got recently funded despite a funding winter actually going on. So we are going to see these sort of innovative battles actually play out. Capital is going to play a large role in this. And we can't take it as a foregone conclusion that the big guy is going to end up emerging and winning. When we had the last kind of war, Google actually came up and emerged straight out of left field and ended up actually disrupting Microsoft. Facebook came and disrupted Google. Who's going to come out next and actually disrupt these giants is something all of us are actually looking forward to.
Yeah, and one doesn't know who's going to be the big disruptor. I know that Chinese technology giants also like Alibaba and Baidu have announced their intentions to launch a ChatGPT style product. So who knows? And, just to come back to one of the other inherent problems, I think, do you think that trust issue exists, that maybe people have been placing their faith in search engines for decades? So now using a chatbot on the result page, maybe there's not enough understanding on the same. So will it take time? Is that trust factor an issue?
Look, don't ask it to tell you facts. That's what search engines are for. Ask it to generate things for you, generate ideas, generate new concepts, generate pictures. I mean, I use it to generate academic papers, for example, in my academic part of my life. And so, yes, there are trust issues. There are issues beyond trust of plagiarism. There are issues of bias and ethics. Privacy was talked about. But I think, again, please, we must remember that this is just the beginning of this new technology. As Siddarth said, AI is going to be integrated everywhere in everything that we do. 2023 and going forward is the era of AI. And I'll conclude by saying this bit that, it's a bit like electricity. You only know about electricity when it's not there. And that's when you think about it. And for the first time, products like ChatGPT have brought out the power of this electricity or this AI into the hands of people like you and me. And that's why we are having such excitement over it. Early days, issues are there, but I'm confident that with regulation, philosophers and technologists will get together and resolve them.
It's been a very interesting discussion. So glad, Jaspreet and Siddarth, you could both take time out and join in with your perspective. And it's going to be mass adoption. And as Jaspreet says, he's obsessively excited about ChatGPT. Well, we at the ET Now office are also trying to get a lot more excited about ChatGPT. My colleague Vinny actually sampled it, asked ChatGPT some questions, including a rap song for ET Now. Take a look.
Okay, and if you still haven't heard about ChatGPT, what is it? It's a software that you can write your essays on, solve your doubts, any doubts that you have, ask questions, even tell them to make you questions or guide you on making a presentation, write your love letters, solving formulas. And seems like it's becoming your new Google, because surely people are saying a lot of them have shifted to ChatGPT. It's just a software, it's not any app. So let's look at how to use ChatGPT. So this is the site. You just go and type ChatGPT, this page will open up. You say try ChatGPT. Once you try ChatGPT, this opens up for you. And let's look at it. There's a new chat option, right? So when you go to new chat, it will open up here. New chat creates a new chat and you can ask any of the questions you have. So firstly, let's just understand on what's interesting in the startup space, right? In the startup space. Let's look at what ChatGPT has to say. Okay, surely it's giving us a nice answers, few important points. Innovation about startups are often driven. Interesting answers are coming in about entrepreneurship as well. And surely, giving us good answers in terms of what we are expecting as well. What should one be looking at when they're just reading up on startups? So it's just like basic content that they would have. Now, just let's look at what is there and what is happening in terms of maybe something newer and what is there on your food plate. What do you want to know? Satya Nadella actually asked on what would come in a South Indian breakfast plate. Now, South Indian breakfast plate is what he asked, and he said that there was a wrong answer that came in over there. ChatGPT even said that, oh, there was a mistake and corrected the mistake as well. So yes, we'll ask about what's there on a Gujarati breakfast. Do they actually manage to answer what is the right thing? I love Gujarati food. I am a Gujarati, so surely let's look at what comes in for a Gujarati breakfast. Okay, Gujarati cuisine, worldwide vegetarian dishes, nutritional, okay. Dokla, yes, that's the right answer coming in there as well. I love my doklas. I hope you all do like it as well. Let's see if they're managing. Theplas are also there. Every Gujarati loves their doklas and theplas. Does it actually come out with khandvi as an answer? Yes, khandvi is the next answer. So surely I'm happy with ChatGPT's answers coming in terms of the food at least as well. Handwa, khakra, dhoklas, everything that they have coming in there. Lastly, obviously, let's not forget, ChatGPT has data coming in only till 2021. So what is the last one? Maybe can it write a rap song on ET Now? On ET Now. Okay. Let's see if it manages to write. Oh, it is managing to write one. And I'm going to try singing it then. Yo, it's time to tune in to ET Now. Get ready for stock market know-how. They keep us up to date with the trends, giving us financial news. Surely an interesting one there, but that's all about ChatGPT.